Yeah. All right, nice one. You're a gent. See you in a bit now.
Yeah.
All right, boss.
Madam Morris, who should remember.
Yeah.
Hello, Mr. Clark.
Hi, all right?
Yes. Would you like a cup of tea or coffee?
Tea would be lovely, thanks. Milk and sugar, yeah, lovely.
Also,
Thank you.
Okay.
This side? Yeah, that's fine.
taxi pick you up on time?
Perfect, yeah, great.
Oh, they're bringing in the tea now. Oh, was that the same taxi firm that came?
Yeah, same driver, yeah.
Oh, they're okay.
Yeah,
reliable.
they're great, thanks.
Oh, good. Well, how's your hand?
Well, it's all right. I'm still taking medication for it,
Yeah.
you see.
Yeah.
I'm still getting pain with it, but
Right.
on the surface it's healed, like, you know.
Oh, right, yeah.
I'm obviously left with
yeah.
less, and my grip isn't what it used to be.
Right.
But
Right.
there we are. It's a lot of the psychology with it, like, do you know what I mean? It was coming to terms with it in my head
Yeah.
a lot as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it is just going to affect me for the rest of my life. It's going to affect me in the job market, it's going to affect me mentally, it's going to, like, 20 years down the road, do you know what I mean? I'm still going to be explaining to people how it happened, like,
Yeah.
but all the officers involved are going to have long forgotten about it by then.
Right.
And
So, So how you in yourself then? Because you remember last time we talked, had you been to Bryn Mawr?
Yeah.
And what happened? Were they helpful?
Well, they said I had, I didn't have post-traumatic stress disorder, so I was happy with that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I've moved on.
Right. Because that was worrying you, wasn't it?
Well, there was a few things worrying me at the time, wasn't there?
There were. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm good.
Good.
I'm okay. Thank you.
Yeah. No. So, what do you want to talk to us about this afternoon then?
Well, I was hoping that you could explain some of the report, you know.
Yeah.
But it's your signature on the front of it.
No, it's not my report. It's Doreen Davis' report.
Yes, that's right.
Now, what I do, as I think as I went through last time, it's my job as a commissioner to set the terms of reference.
Yeah.
In terms of what the investigation will look at. Then, as the investigation goes on, to make sure the lines of inquiry are being followed.
Yeah.
And then when the investigator finishes and produces the report,
Yeah.
it's then my job to go back to the terms of reference
Yeah.
and see if the report matches up with the terms of reference.
Right.
Right?
But the thing is, though,
what I can't
what you
do-
should do
No,
is
I can't
what
interfere
you
with the report.
right.
itself.
But what you should do, instead of checking that the report matches the terms of reference, you should check that the report matches the evidence.
Well, I did look at the CCTV.
Have you looked at it all?
Well, I've looked at everything that we have, yes.
Oh,
Now,
right, that's great.
Right, I have looked through all
So
that myself.
you can see that the report doesn't match the.
No, I can't see that. So
You can't see that.
No,
Right.
you talk me through then how you think it does then.
Right. Okay. This is one of my favourite pages.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's with.
But
Right.
after that, Mr. Clark.
If you go to 78 on page 14,
Yeah.
it says under 78, PC Hart, PC James, PC Harris, CDO Stevens also all stated that Mr. Clark had attempted to spit as the cell door was closed. Now if you trail down to 83, it says, the cell footage shows that P.S. Jones had his back to Mr. Clark as he left the cell, and none of the officers would have been in a position to see that Mr. Clark's fingers were near the door jamb as the door was closing. Now, 78, if I can point you to the last few words, as the cell door was closed, and then 83, as the door was closing. So, 83 and 78 are both talking about the exact same time as the door was swung by PC Allen. Now, if they're both talking about the exact same time, which is basically a second, how can all 4 officers be looking through the door and be in a position to all state that I'd attempted to spit through the cell door, and here on 83, none of them were in a position to see that I was in any danger whatsoever? And you're talking about the exact same second here. These 4 officers have seen through this door and seen me attempting to spit, and none of those officers who have already stated that they were looking and they could see me, none of them saw that I was in any danger whatsoever.
You're right to say it was happening very, very quickly.
Yeah.
And what I could see on the CCTV is you did try and spit.
No. No, I didn't.
Well, I'm sorry, but from what I could see,
right, but
you did try and spit at them.
Can you then point to where I've spat or attempted to spit? Now, what I did spit at those officers when they came back in, right? I did, and I'll openly admit to that, right? But they've looked at this and they've gone, right, well, we need a reason for them to be swinging this door so quick, right? No. If I was even a couple of inches closer to that door, it would have killed me. It would have killed me, right? It would have hit me in the face and it would have ended my life. Now, these officers are looking for a good enough reason to swing that door as quickly as possible to protect themselves. I wasn't spitting. There was no evidence that I spat. Dorian says that there's a spot of blood, spit, which landed above M5, which was blood, and I can prove it was blood because my fingers were crushed by the door, right? So the door was already closed before that spot landed on the wall, right? It takes the force of the door being closed for the pressure to mount up on my fingers to cause the squirting effect across the hall, which hit one of the officers on the chest and also hit the wall above. Now, Dorian happily says that that was spit that hit the wall, a bloody spit or bloody saliva, as he says. And I can actively prove that that's false.
And how would you prove that, Clark?
Because the spot did not land on the wall until after the door closed, and it's physically impossible for me to spit through a closed door. Right.
I don't know what I can do to help you.
Well, what I'm saying is you commissioned a report, you are the top of the top of the top, and you've commissioned a false report.
No.
Yes, you have.
What the investigator's done is produce the report on the basis of the evidence.
Right. Well, what evidence does Dorian have that spit goes through steel?
I don't think he's saying that anywhere, is he?
Well, he's saying that the spot above M5, above the door now, don't forget.
Right. So tell me which paragraph that is then.
And another thing with this, right?
Let's finish with this one first now, so make sure that Martin and I have got a note of everything that you want to say.
Right, okay.
So, tell me where Dorian said something that you think can't be right.
Oh no, on about every page.
On this M5 spot then. Tell me where that...
Hold on, it's further along than that.
Here we go, I think you're talking of 96. The footage, page 15 and 16. The officers have given evidence that Mr. Clark ran towards the door in order to spit at them as they were leaving. And their accounts are corroborated by the CCTV footage.
How was it corroborated by the CCTV footage? Because
well,
can you see me spitting, or is somebody just saying that I was attempting to spit? Because if they say I was attempting it, then they have... I can't prove that I wasn't attempting to spit, see? And because of that air of doubt, it gives them enough of a status to be able to say, oh, well, he was trying to spit at us, so we threw the door shut.
That's what it looks like.
No, it doesn't.
Right?
No, it doesn't.
To me, so you've got a different interpretation.
I was there.
And
I know I wasn't trying to spit it up. I know I wasn't.
It appears to show.
Right.
You're trying to spit.
Right. It appears.
And that's what that is. Is that number
Right.
96?
Right. Okay. Which appears to show spit hitting the wall above the cell, opposite cell. Now, what I've got to do then is spit through the open door, across the hallway, and hit the wall above the opposite cell with my spit. Right? And I can tell you for a fact that I didn't even get close to that. And that door swung closed before the spot landed. Now, if the door was closed before the spot landed, then there's absolutely no way that I'm spitting a red spot across the, all the way across the hall with the door closed. And when you actually look at it on a big screen, right? I put it up on 50 inches, zoomed in to the spot, and it's a perfectly round spot of blood, right? If it was spit, and it was travelling at the pace that spit travels at, then A, it wouldn't have hit the wall at all. It was impossible anyway because the door was closed by that time, by the time it hit, and it wouldn't be a perfectly round spot. It would be just a splat, wouldn't it?
Well, I don't think any of us as forensic scientists to determine what shape and
Well,
size the spit was on the wall.
Yourselves being an organisation which investigates serious crimes should have a forensic...
no, we don't investigate crimes. We investigate...
This is a crime. You've covered it up.
No, Mr. Clark, the IPCC doesn't cover up anything. The IPCC is an independent body. We investigate quite independently.
Okay. Can you please
Leave Mr. Williams finish and we get on.
Yeah, but the thing is
not engage in cover-up with anybody about anything.
That's great, and I'm chuffed to hear you say that. So if I could just point you to some more absolutely damning evidence that this is a cover-up, then that's great.
So the first thing we've got now is you don't think the officers are correct when they say you were, or they thought you were appearing to spit.
That's a blatant lie.
And
anyway.
You don't think it was spit on the wall, you think it was your blood.
I know it was my blood.
So that's the first thing.
Right.
So
now, they've also accused me of assaulting a police officer. I was acquitted in the magistrate's court of attempting to assault PC Burton. Right? So, having been acquitted by a magistrate, or 3 magistrates as it goes, under a magistrate's trial, is that enough for you to think, oh, well, maybe he didn't assault this officer? Obviously it's not, because you put it in the report that I've assaulted him, and even gone as far as to say that I elbowed the guy in the face. And they didn't say that in the magistrate's court.
Point me to the paragraph that you're talking about there then.
Mr. Clark leant over and tried to bite his face. It's right there, on 48:11. I was acquitted of that by a magistrate, but that's not good enough for Dorian.
What Dorian is doing there is explaining
the necessity of arrest. Yeah, the necessity of arrest.
Yeah.
Now, if I'd never assaulted a police officer, then they had no grounds for arrest. Because what I'm saying is, my partner didn't say I'd gone mad, I didn't assault her, and all you've got is a noise complaint to the police. That's all you've got. Or there's shouting coming from an address. That's all you've got. And these coppers have come in, pointed a taser at me to arrest me, said that I'd assaulted them to make the arrest necessary. They've accused me of elbowing one of them in the face as well in this report, which wasn't put to me in the magistrates. And I wonder why that is, because I'm sure they would have had to supply pictures of some kind of bruise to the face. Now, I didn't touch Burton by trying to bite him. I didn't elbow anyone in the face either. And my question to you is, if you're saying in this report that I tried to elbow somebody in the face when they're trying to put me in the van, which is what's said in this report, then why wasn't that put against me in the magistrate's court 4 months after this? I
don't know what happened in the magistrate's court, but what Dorian is doing here is putting down what the police officer said to him.
Exactly.
Right?
That's exactly what he's doing.
Right.
He's taking the police officer's account as if it's God's honest truth, man.
No, what he's doing is recording what they said to him. That's what he's doing. That's what he's required to do to give the background.
Right. Now, he is not required to take the police officer's statement and go, oh, well, that must be true, stick that in there.
No, he doesn't work like that. The IPCC
Well, he obviously does.
like
Right.
that.
Well, an independent report would have gone, right, well, maybe it was or maybe it wasn't necessary to arrest him. We can't go back now. When he walked into the custody desk, he was heard saying there's no need for this at least 3 times. Now, that was omitted from this report. Why? When I've got the evidence. I've got myself on audio at the custody desk. I've got it. It's on Facebook.
And have you shared it with...
I've shared it with the world.
Davis?
He's the one that gave it to me.
So, he's said that.
He said that Lewis Davis said, take him down, sell M4, strip search for his own protection. And what the guy really said was, sell M4, not so angry now, is he? And I've got him on audio saying that, your sergeant in this, which you say is so innocent. So if he thought, in his professional opinion, and don't forget, I can prove this now that he said this, not so angry now, is he? And if that was his professional opinion upon the first time that he's seen me, then why didn't he have me at the custody desk to read me my rights?
I don't know, because I wasn't there.
Right. Well, it's a requirement that if somebody is of sound mind and well enough to stand at that custody desk after an arrest, they must, by law, this custody sergeant must adhere to that, unless what you're seeing in this is hold on a second. What you're seeing in this report is that a risk assessment couldn't be done and I needed to be caged immediately. Right? That's what you're saying. But on my arrival, I'm going like that. There's no need for this, guys. There's no need for this, guys. There's no need for this, guys. And he says, not so angry now, is he? Right? And that's on Facebook. It's been watched like 10,000 times. So if that is what happens, and exactly what happened, and I know it's what happened because the evidence is there, then why doesn't this report adhere to the evidence?
Mr. Clark, if you think, if it's your view...
It's not my view, it's the evidence.
No, it's your view.
It's the evidence.
No, it's your view.
It's the evidence.
No, please don't say this now. It's your view of the evidence in the way...
I've got him on audio saying it, man.
So it's your view of the evidence.
I've got him on audio saying it.
Right. So let's move on from this now.
Go on then. Sorry, go on.
If you think that this is a report that shows that the IPCC has covered up what happened, right?
Yes.
You need to get yourself legal advice.
Oh, I've got it.
Okay.
I've got a no-window fee solicitor that's taken my case on and is...
Fine. So on that basis then, you and I can't have any further conversation.
Why?
Because what you're saying to me, as the overseeing commissioner, is that you think this report represents a cover-up. So we now need to have a letter from you or your solicitor to that effect, and it will all be managed through a legal process. That's how we have to operate.
Now, I'd like you to just go through a bit more of it with me, if you will.
Not if it's in support of what you're considering in terms of legal action. That would not be appropriate.
Well, I just want you to try and tell me exactly, you've commissioned this report. I want you to stand by it. I want to just put a few of these to you and just say, I want you to say that they're correct. I'd like you to say that they're correct, if that's okay.
No, I'm not going to do that, Mr. Clark, because what you've said to me is that you have commissioned a solicitor, you intend to take legal action in respect of challenging this report, and that the report represents a cover-up, and that the IPCC has covered up...
I didn't say... You're putting words into my mouth now. You're putting words into my mouth.
Sorry, you've said cover-up, you've said you've got a solicitor, you've said you intend to take legal advice.
Advice, yeah. But does that mean I'm going to take legal action if I'm just taking legal advice?
If you're taking legal advice, you have a solicitor. Your solicitor can help you with it, and your solicitor can put everything you want to ask into a letter formally. It wouldn't be appropriate now
Right.
for me to go through different points with you if that's the course of action.
Yeah, but you were the one that's commissioned this report. You were the person.
I'm not the one who has written it. I'm not the one who's reported
But
it.
it's your signature.
I
You've
sent
read
you
the report.
Yes, I have read the report.
Right, and
I
you're
have
happy.
read it.
I'd like you to say that you're happy that everything in here is true according to the evidence.
What I have to do is go back to the terms of reference to see if the terms of reference have been followed.
Right.
It's not my job to do the investigation, analyse the evidence. That's the job of the lead investigator.
Right. Another question. When I was here in January with you, you said, I said to you that I believed that the CCTV had been tampered with. Now, it was addressed in this report. Now, I've got a question about that, if it's okay. Do you remember me saying to you what I thought the tampering was?
Not offhand.
Right.
No, I'd have to
Right.
go back to the
Well,
notes
what
that I made at the time.
what I said to you was that on my arrival, there was audio. Upon my exit, there wasn't. But I still have the exit footage. That's what I said to you. That's what the allegation was, that the audio had been deleted to suit the police's needs. Now, the section in here doesn't address that at all, even though that's what the allegation was, and that's what I made to you in January. It wasn't addressed by Dorian Davis. He glossed over it and went, well, there was a problem with the system.
There was a problem with the system.
Oh, it's so perfectly convenient.
Well, again, Mr. Clark, if that's another indication from you that you think the IPCC has been involved in a cover-up, that's where I can't help you, and that's where you...
I'm just saying it's convenient, that's all.
No, it's not. It's not
Is
convenient.
it more than convenient?
It's not convenient to me or to Martin. You know, we come here in good faith to answer any questions we can.
That's great.
But no, you've just signalled to us that you've got a solicitor, you think there's been a cover-up, so we need to follow the process associated with that allegation you've made.
Who's your solicitor, Mr.
They also said that upon his arrival, he could be heard kicking the van, right? And Police Sergeant Simon Lewis Davis is the person that said he could hear me kicking the van. Now, the cops come out into the bay, open the back doors. He's just sitting there. He looks calm to me. Strange. It could never be proven, even though there's audio at the custody desk, it could never be proven that I was kicking the van, because it didn't happen. It could never be proved I was calling them murderers, cunts, and all that stuff that Dorian says that I'm calling them during the cell procedure, which he says he's got audio for, that I haven't been privy to, right? Okay. And because this is so extensively dressed up, I don't believe I'll ever see that. Is that something you want to supply me?
We'll go back and check that in terms of if there
Right.
is evidence that you should be, you should know of and see or hear that you haven't. That's something we'll go back and check.
If there is audio or cameras that I haven't seen from the night, I'm entitled to be privy to them. I'm entitled to it. Right? And I know that. And the thing is, 14 months have gone by, and I've been, evidence has been withheld, evidence has been tampered with. I haven't been kept in the loop with regards to the investigation at all. I've got every letter from the IPCC. I've got every letter with regards to this case. And
okay, so I tell you what then, Mr. Clark, what if I write to you formally now to say, you've met with me today, and what you've said is that you think evidence has been withheld from you, you think evidence has been tampered with, you think that the IPCC has been involved in a cover-up with Dyfed Powys Police to cover up any wrongdoing on the part of these officers, and you're taking legal advice about the next step. If you let us know who your solicitor is, your solicitor can then act.
This report also says that there was a delay because CDO Stevens had to go and get the key. Yeah? That's why a minute and 8 seconds elapsed before the door opened again. Now, I've seen the footage from the cell. Alan realises that my fingers are jammed within 8 seconds. This report tries to make it out like it was more like 30 seconds, but within 8 seconds, Alan knows. Alan tells Stevens. Stevens calmly walks up the corridor. He knows I'm in trouble now. He knows I'm in pain. I'm screaming in agony, and this guy strolls away. Goes into the office, tells Lewis Davis, grabs the keys, strolls back down the corridor as if he's taking a walk in the park, puts the key in the lock, and then stands there for 20 whole seconds. This guy knows my fingers are trapped. He's aware that he's going to be opening the door to release my fingers, and he waits a full 20 seconds to do so with the key in the lock, his foot against the door, looking up the corridor. Now, whether he's looking for an order to open the door or not, I don't know, but that was left out of here as well. This says there was no delay in getting the door open. Hold on a second, I'm not finished. And even when he turns the key, he puts his hand on the door, opens 2 inches on the handle side, which is more like 2 millimeters on the hinge side, and then shuts it again, and then reopens. Now, that was left out of this report.
So omissions is what is so Martin can make a note of that as well.
Please.
So you're also indicating that Dorian Davis has left things out.
Oh, vital evidence.
Has left out vital evidence. Okay? So that's another thing that you're alleging.
It's not alleged. It's there.
Well, but that's
if 100,000 people have seen this footage, which they have, right, that particular clip has been watched 100,000 times, and if that clip has been watched 100,000 times, and 100,000 people have all seen this officer wait for 20 seconds, even with the key in the lock, and then open and shut again.
Well, again, you're alleging...
Have you watched the door being opened?
Yes, I have watched it.
Right,
and
great.
My interpretation differs from yours.
Right, what's your interpretation then?
Mr. Clark, I'm not going to go any further with this interview. It is quite clear that from your perspective...
I'm asking what you thought of it, because I know what's in the footage.
I can't help you any further, Mr. Clark, because it's not my report.
Right, but
it's Mr. Davis's report. He stands by it. I see nothing in it to suggest that he hasn't carried out anything other than a robust and independent investigation. I see nothing in it. No, I'm sorry. I see nothing in it to suggest that Mr. Davis has covered anything up, or that he has deliberately omitted anything to allow Dyfed Powys Police officers to escape from wrongdoing.
Right.
And if that's what you think, as we've said, you really must now put it in writing formally, either yourself or through your solicitor.
Right, and a letter is going to do nothing.
No, you're making very serious allegations.
Damn right there.
So you have to follow proper process.
Right. I was told in this report that I refused medical treatment for 3 hours, and that was the reason for the delay. Why then would the first time the door opens and he goes, come on then, would I leave instantly and go into the ambulance? I was never offered an open door for treatment, right? There were paramedics in my cell at least 35 minutes before I was allowed into the ambulance. I was treatable at that time. I can promise you I was treatable. I was sitting there, naked, bleeding all over myself. I needed help, right? And they all walked out and just left me, right?
That's another allegation.
It's not an allegation, it's proof. Would you like me to play you the footage?
No, I don't need to see the footage again, Mr. Clark. This isn't going to get us anywhere this afternoon, because it's quite clear...
Did you think that I was just going to turn around and say, oh, well, this is exactly what happened?
I didn't know, and obviously I'm prepared to meet you, but where we are now is in a different place, because what you've said...
Because you're lying and I'm not.
So
different places.
There we are, so I think that's where we'll end it now, Mr. Clark.
That's great.
If we could possibly see if Mr. Clark's taxi is available. There's no point in continuing, because you've signalled you intend to challenge the report as representing a cover-up. I can't see a cover-up.
You haven't answered any of my questions.
And you have challenged my integrity. You have challenged the
Dorian's integrity
of Dorian Davis,
and the IPCC as a whole.
The IPCC of engaging in cover-up. So
yes.
I think our interview is at an end, Mr. Clark.
Right. Okay. That's fantastic. See you in court. And don't forget, it's your name on the bottom of this.
Oh, good afternoon. Martin Marsh is from Ammanford Police Station.
If I was you, I'd go back and look at it, at the evidence, look at the footage. It doesn't match the report, and you know it doesn't.
Good afternoon, Martin. Will help
Yes,
you
he's
in
ready to
terms
come
of,
back.
the taxi.
Okay, thank you. Bye now.
No, if you'd like to wait outside, Mr. Clark, the taxi, thank you.
Oh, and this accused me of taking drugs, and I can prove I've been clean for 4 years.
That's anything, all the issues you can put in your letter, or if it comes from...
So are you going to write to me formally now?
I will write you to say what happened this afternoon,
Yeah.
what you've alleged, and what I've advised you to do.
Right, okay. Is there like a specific place that I need to contact when the IPCC do cover up work, you know? Because there's got...
I mean,
See your solicitor, and your solicitor will advise you.
Is there?
I will put
Yes.
this into the internal IPCC system.
The IIU,
Say,
is there?
No. I
Right.
will...
Well, should I contact the IIU?
No.
I think I should.
Well, you can do what you like,
Right.
Mr. Clark,
Okay. I think I should send them a copy of this report and
Okay.
all the discs that I have. Could you make sure that I get a copy of the audio of me apparently calling them murderers and cunts and things like that? Because I'm telling you it didn't happen, and Dorian has lied, even lied to say he's made...
You've indicated that you have a solicitor, Mr. Clark. A solicitor is the best person to advise you in this position.
Oh, that's great.
Okay?
That's fantastic.
Who's your solicitor?
Who's yours?
Oh, right.
Well,
We can't
you
help
know,
you
if
then, can
it-
we?
when I write you,
What?
I ask you if you have a
Listen,
solicitor that you'd like to
This
use.
is a cover-up, and you are not trying to help me. But I'm just I did this meeting to let you know that I'm going to challenge this every step of the way. And your signature's on the bottom of it. You've read it, you've signed it off. Your job is to make sure that cover-ups like this don't happen, right? I've been left with this injury for the rest of my life, and it's their fault, and you've let them walk away scot-free.
Do you want to go see if the taxi's there, Mr. Clark?
I'm alright, Bill, do you want to go check?
No, I'm not doing running around for you. I said we'll go and see if the taxi's there. Okay?
Do you want to hold hands?
No, I don't want to hold hands. I just want to see if your taxi's there so you can get home safely.
Thank you for your time, Miss Williams. I will be speaking to you again about this, I promise. Gone for lunch, innit?
I don't know where he's gone. Who's the firm? What was the firm? I've just phoned them.
You're the one who phoned them.